Cheap Not Broke fam, thank you for tuning back into the channel. Please hit that like button, that subscribe button. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. Each and every subscription helps. Hit that button. Cheap Not Broke fam, it's Wednesday. You know what time it is. It's time for Wednesday. Thank you all for tuning back into the channel. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Please and thank you. There we go. Sounding clean, good, and clear. Thank you all for tuning back in. If it's your first time, thank you for coming. If you're coming back, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, tonight's topic. What are we talking about tonight? Damn it, I got a topic. Everybody sees the one. With all this technology, people are always telling on you, telling your business, snitching on you. Your car does it now. Lyft is doing the same thing. Is Lyft shaming riders who don't tip? Is Lyft shaming riders who don't tip? Yes. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. So, Lyft, let me get into it. Let me give you some background what's going on. Lyft has a pilot program. They have a pilot program that they're rolling out that they're going to let drivers know to decide who to pick up based on who's tipping and who's not. Kind of like DoorDash. You know, with DoorDash, I think they have a feature where they can see who is tipping. So based on who tips and who don't tip, that's how they get their orders. Do I know this to be true? I don't use DoorDash, but I've read articles. Maybe it's changed, but at one point in time, that was true. They could see who tipped and who didn't, and based off of that, that's who they were going to pick up. That's who they were going to get their orders from. Wait a minute. That's wrong. Because, first off, you should have to tip everybody, okay? Everybody don't deserve tip. Because you know, tips in America are out of pocket now. Oh, everybody's like cashier asking for a tip. What do you mean? You didn't do nothing. You're supposed to do this. You go to the mall. You buy some shoes. You want to leave a tip? For what? You going to get the box out the back? What? No. You didn't put the shoes. Now, if you put the shoes on my feet and took them off, all that, that's different. Yeah, you might deserve a tip for that. But not going to the back getting the shoes. No, you don't get a tip. Nope. You better, hopefully they'll give you some rewards points for selling these shoes, and you get a gift card from the company. The company at the end of the month. But I'm damn sure not giving you nothing. Don't come up here for that. I'm not doing all that. No, it's not happening. People want you to tip for everything now. What else they want you to tip for? You know, like Jersey Mike's. They want me to tip. Wait a minute. Y'all getting paid a good wage here. And you did not make the sandwich. The person in the back deserves a tip. They get a sandwich. They should get the tip. Not you. The tip gets shared amongst all y'all. How does it work? I don't know. But the whole tipping thing is getting out of pocket. And now Lyft, the car rideshare company, will now be letting people know. Let's get into it. Let's read this article real quick. Lyft customers are furious over the newest feature that tells drivers how often passengers tip before deciding whether to accept ride requests. Drivers typically decide whether to accept passengers based on how much the trip pays, the time and distance to drop off, and the rider's star rating. But now there's a banner towards the bottom of the screen that shares the percentage the rider passenger provides a tip, along with details on how often they're ready and waiting for drivers at their pickup point, according to screenshots from Lyft drivers. So they're basically going to tell people how often you tip and don't tip, and that's going to determine who's coming to get you and who is not. That's not good for business. Mom, hello. Gotta shout my mom out every show. Thank you for watching. I know you don't use tip Lyft and ride share like that, but we do out here, and that's not good. That's not good. Cause look, if the rides are already expensive enough, sometimes you go one way, the ride is $25. Come back, ride could be $60. Oh, A lot of people on the streets right now. We got to go pick up some extra folks. All this, the ride doubles in price. This is what they do at LA. This is what they do at LA Airport, LAX. So when you get off at LAX, they have the ride share parking lot, the ride share lot, right? The ride share lot. They have a bus that comes picks you up and drops you off at the ride share lot. Everybody gets off right there at the ride share. They have Ubers and Lyfts sitting there waiting for you. But what does that do? If a lot of people get off in one place, that creates demand. So therefore, you're already getting off a bus with a lot of people looking for a ride home. That creates instant demand for the company. They can raise the price, and you got to pay more. So what do? I walk my ass off the airport premises. I walk across the street to a hotel, and I catch a Lyft or Uber from the hotel. I'm not doing that. No, I'm not paying that. I'm not paying it. No, here, LAX, you don't want to pay the higher price for the Lyft or Uber. When you get on the shuttle, Lyft or Uber shuttle, ride to the Lyft or Uber lot, cross the street, you'll see it. It's a hotel. Walk over there or walk somewhere over there. Because you're going to be around too many people every time. It's going to cost you a lot of extra money. It doesn't make sense to pay all that extra money when you don't need to do that. Don't do that. But here's the biggest problem about it all. Here's the problem. We live in America, the richest country in the world. Well, that's what they tell us. Well, we're one of the richest countries in the world. Why are people still requiring tips in 2025? Shouldn't it be a law that your employer pay you a livable wage? These people are depending on the public to pay them a livable wage based on how they feel. Because you get a tip based on how somebody feels. I mean, it's customary. It's frowned upon not to tip. But if they don't do a good job, I don't want to tip. I don't. Look, you're going to get paid for this anyway. Some people do not go above and beyond. Now, look, I'm not asking you to shine my shoes. I don't need you to do all that. However, I shouldn't have to ask you 6 or 7 times to do things. Hey, where are those cheese sticks? Oh, I forgot them. I'll be right back. I'm going to put those in right now. But we've been told you that. Look, the real problem is this. In America, companies are allowed to pay their people less than a living wage. That's why you got to tip in the first place. You can't tip no salary person. You can't. If you get a salary, you probably can't get tips. You can't. You got to be an hourly employee. Most likely in the restaurant industry, those are most of the people who get them. Other industries get them too. But everybody else should be able to get a tip. Why? Why all of us can't get a tip? Everybody, if you do something good, if you do your job above and beyond, you should get a tip, no matter what. Shouldn't we be able to tip the pilots and the stewardess? Everybody should tip the pilot. He did a good job, got us there safe. Landing was real soft. Ooh, felt real good, nice. And some of them are funny. Some of them pilots are funny. They crack jokes. They make me laugh. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give him some extra money. But I can't do that. He can't take no tips. The stewardess, she was very nice. Got me to my seat. Got me some extra cookies. She deserves a tip. They don't get paid before the door closes. They deserve a tip. You can't tip them. What about your doctor? Your doctor, he deserves a tip. He's taking care of you. He's looking out for you, telling you everything you need to know. You can't tip them. But, they're paid enough. Nobody's paid enough. Everybody deserves extra money. If somebody wants to give me some extra money, let me take that extra money. But when it comes to the restaurant industry, they're forcing you to pay. I don't want to pay. Some people just don't do a good job. It is what it is. Everybody's not good at that. Some people come in there with attitude. Some people forget everything. You got to ask them 6 or 7 times. And then you got some people who go well above and beyond. And they make the experience really nice. It's like, you know what? Man, they did a good job. Cheryl was very nice. Cheryl did a good job today. She made us feel very well. Cheryl deserves some extra money. I want to give her some extra money. And then there's Barbara. Barbara did terrible today. Barbara had attitude. She forgot everything. She forgot about us. She didn't even come check on us not one time. I needed some extra sauce. You didn't come get no extra sauce. I had to flag her down. Hey, Right here, right here. Oh yes, yes, yes. Can I be? Oh yeah, can I get a refill on lemonade? And can I get some more sauce, please? Oh yes, yes, yes. I ain't supposed to do that. You supposed to come check on me, right? Now you gotta come over there and you know be all nice and kiss my ass. I don't need all that. I don't like that. Don't do that. But don't forget about me. And I need a couple things. Bring the food. Is there anything else I need? Let me see. Let me look. Hold on. Got my sauce. Got my plate. Got pans. Got my drink. Okay. I'm good. Some people drop food off. Okay. You good? All right. Now walk off. Wait a minute. Let me take a look and scan. Y'all just brought all this out. Okay, I got this. I got this. You got everything? You got everything? Okay, good. All right, we got everything. We good. Thank you. Cool. And then come check on them. Have about 10 minutes. Check on them. See if we need refuel and need something else, because you might taste something. You might taste something and be like, oh, you know what? I need some more food. I need something else. Hit the like button. Hit the like button, please. Please hit that like button. It's very, very helpful. They care. They care. It's like getting me the star rating. It's like when you want to get some stars. Like, the like button is like that. It's kind of like that. Hit the like button. But yes, thank you. Thank you for hitting the like button. All right. But yes, everybody deserves a tip. Everybody. Now look here. I know you've been to places. Everybody watching right now, you've been in a place where this mandatory tipping is trying to. I don't agree with that. That's bull. Some places, the tip is already included. Whoa. Why are we having to pay people above and beyond? They were already going to do this anyway. Tipping should be choice only. It shouldn't be mandatory. That's your employer's job to pay you enough. Now I can see you got that big party, that party of 12, all that. I get it. But some of these places, like the bartender, why we got to tip the bartender all this extra money? Everybody you tip the bartender. Everybody know to tip the bartender. You give him some extra money. Everybody know that. However, why is it already included? He didn't do nothing extra, and the drink was nasty. Tips should be based on performance. This is a performance-based incentive. Tips are performance-based incentives. You do well, the more money you get. It's just like in sales. You don't get no bonus. You don't get a bonus if you're not selling the most. What we gonna sell? Number 5 gets the same amount of money as number 1? I don't think so. That don't make no sense. That doesn't make any sense. And everywhere they're trying to get you to tip. At Target, you're checking out a Target. You want to leave a tip? No, I don't. I don't want to leave a tip. If I wanted to, I would. I appreciate the option to do so, but right now, I'm not feeling it because you didn't do anything special. Everybody can't take no tip. Anybody should be able to get a tip if you go above and beyond your job. You do well more than what you're supposed to do. Well more. All right, let me go ahead. Let's get to the notes. I'm over here ranting to complaining. Let's see. All right. When did tipping get started? Origins of tipping. The custom of tipping came from the aristocratic European, especially in England, where the wealthy people would give servants extra money as a token of gratitude for good service. Wealthy Americans who traveled to Europe brought back the practice in the 1860s. After the Civil War, tipping became common in hospitality and rail industries, but for a darker reason. Newly freed black Americans found work as porters, waiters, and servers. Many employers, especially in the South, refused to pay full wages. Still do, arguing that tips should cover their income. This allowed companies like Pullman Company and its black porters to legally avoid paying fair wages. In the 1990s, tipping was widely hated in the United States. By the early 1900s, typically is widely hated in the United States. In 1915, 6 states, including Iowa, South Carolina, Tennessee, actually banned tipping, calling it un-American. And it is un-American. It should be. People make too much money. Companies make billions of dollars. If you're on the stock market, you have to pay a livable wage. Because if you got enough money to sell shares, you got enough money to pay people. It's got to change. We got to change the law. It's got to change. I doubt all cashiers even receive their tip from the company. I'm pretty sure they don't. I'm pretty sure your employer charges you a service fee to get the tips. They're charging a damn service fee or something. Some type of thing. How do they know it's accurate? You don't. You don't. I've asked many people. I've gone to restaurants, and when I'm checking out, when I'm tipping electronically, I say, excuse me, hey, how do you know how many tips have you gotten for the day? Do they have like an account for you? Can you log into some software and see, like, right now, if I'm tipping you right now, can you see anywhere how much you've accumulated for the day versus your coworker? No, well, we pool tip. See, that's bullshit. Excuse me. Excuse my friend. There shouldn't be no pool tipping. No, everybody's tipped individually. There's no pool tipping. I don't like the pool tipping. Y'all need to have a bonus at the end of the week, but it shouldn't be no pool tipping. Because somebody's getting tipped, somebody's going well beyond and above for service, and this other person is not, and they're getting the same amount of money as me. I always smile. I always check on people, make sure people have all their stuff. Gretchen over there, she don't do that. People always got to flag her down, and they get upset, and she be over there on her phone, and people be looking at her. What's she doing on her damn phone? Why won't she come over here and help us? They ask, excuse me, that's our waiter over there. Can you go get her? Because she's on her phone. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go get her for you. Hey, the people need you. They said you on your phone. They unhappy. Oh, shit. Yep, and then you got to go over there and the people going to be upset. But anyway, everybody is not doing the same amount of work. Shouldn't get all the same amount of tips. That's just I don't agree with. It's un-American. It's un-American. Oh, shit. That was un-American, too. That's un-American. Okay. By 1920s, 1930s, tipping had become normalized, especially in restaurants and hotels. The Fair Labor Standards Act 1938 allowed employers to pay tip workers less than minimum wage. The tipped minimum wage as long as tips made up the difference, a policy that still exists today in most states. Let's read that again. Fair Labor Standards Act in 1938 allowed employers to pay tip workers less than minimum wage, the tipped minimum wage, as long as tips made up the difference, as a policy that still exists in most states today. That's got to go away. That's the problem right there. That itself needs to go away. It's a problem. That's real static. That's a real problem, and that's causing all the issues. There we go. Can you still hear me? Okay, cool. Yep, that law's got to go away. 1938, still on the books. Still on the books. Laughing at your scenario. Yeah. Now more than 4.5 million Americans rely on tips for income, primarily in restaurants, hospitality, and personal services. Now, if you work in a steakhouse, you're doing well, because them people gonna tip you. Steakhouse, those people got money. You're doing well. Some places you're gonna do well. If you got people who can spend money, you're gonna make money. Many critics say tipping still reflects economic inequality and allows corporations to shift labor costs to customers. Others see it as a way to reward good service and maintain control over the experience. Recently, the spread of digital tipping screens, now Lyft's tip transparency feature, has reignited the debate over tipping pressure and guilt marketing. Okay, I don't feel guilty about nothing. You're paid. You're getting paid. You're working, so you're getting paid. I don't feel guilty. I just don't. I don't feel guilty like, oh man, I need tips. I don't know how much you're making. I'm going to assume you're making enough because you're here. I'm going to assume that. Now, some people might say something different, but I'm going to assume that you're doing this, you're making enough. Now, nobody's happy with their pay. Even NFL players, athletes, they make millions. They're unhappy with their pay. Everybody gets unhappy with their pay at some point. Like, you know what? Nah, this ain't enough. We all feel like that. That is what it is. But I'm not going to have to make up the difference for all this. That's not on me. So, the whole tipping thing, like I said, it's the law needs to change. And yeah, the problem is the people who are directly affected haven't sued, class action lawsuit. Yeah, it's got to be a lawsuit. It's got to be a big lawsuit, and they got to take this down. They got to take this to the government. They got to take this to Congress, Senate. That law's got to change. Everybody's gonna have to pay a fair wage. It's just time for that to change. People should not be able to pay less than a minimum wage and allow for tips to make up the rest. No, you got to pay minimum wage all across the board. If people want a tip, then let them. But the fact that people are making less than that, no, that doesn't make sense. Like minimum wage is $10 an hour, and they can pay you $6, and you got to make up through tips the remaining $4 per hour. I'd just rather get my money up front. Just go ahead and pay me up front. And I know with this tip screen stuff, they're not paying everybody their fair wage. You don't know. The tip jar, y'all can take that down, count it up at the end of the night, bust it up. How many of us? 3? Okay. You, and this is for me. We good. We bust that money down, bust that money up 3 ways, we good to go. Tips, the software, you don't know. Unless I can log into the software all day, every day, and see how much I got on the books, I'm uncomfortable. You're not going to tell me how much I'm getting. And this is true. There have been companies that have been sued for this. Now, the law hasn't changed, but companies have been sued because they weren't paying their employees all the tip money. They were keeping some of it. And they got hip to it and sued them. Now, you know what a class action lawsuit, you ain't going to get about $4. You ain't going to get about $4 on a class action lawsuit. You're not getting no money. I've been a part of a couple class action lawsuits. You get a check in the mail for $1.29. And they sue for $45 million. What am I going to do with $145? Well, the lawyers take all their money. Well, lawyer, it costs $20 million for us to do this. So here's $20 million between y'all. And it's $20 million of y'all. So everybody gets $1. That's how they do it. I've never been part of a class action lawsuit and got any real money. I have not. I would like to. You want to be a practical part of the class action lawsuit? How much y'all paying? How much y'all suing for? Because I want to give me at least $100 or something. At least give me $100 or something like that, man. Sheesh. Tipping. And you know what? Tipping's getting worse because, people don't have cash. When you have cash, it's easy to crap and throw a few dollars in the bucket. No problem. Now, nah, I don't feel like it. Decline. I don't want to do that. I just don't feel like it. Your service wasn't good enough. Or I'll just leave something. I'm not going to leave a lot. But sometimes I don't tip. I don't tip. Like, especially if it's not like, I know when I go to restaurants, I always tip. But, like people at the cashier, just asking for those tips, I don't. And I don't feel bad about it. It's not my job. I'm not tipping. The cashier at a boutique coffee shop told me his employer splits the tips with the workers since he works on the floor sometimes. See, that's bullshit. Look here. The dishwasher don't get no tips. The dishwasher make more money than us. Dishwasher in the back, he's getting paid more money than us per hour. Therefore, he don't get no extra money. He's not getting no extra money. I'm not paying no extra money. Absolutely not. No. Dishwasher in the back washing damn dishes. I had to go up there and put up with these people kids. I had to walk out here and get this. Oh, you didn't want that? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you said you wanted tomatoes. Oh, you want no tomatoes? Okay, I got to take it back. Swap it out. And then I got to listen to you, and you try to let your kid order. Your kid can't even talk good. Why don't you order for him? You're playing games with me, and then you come back, you want all these extra condiments and stuff. I had to deal with all these people. Not having a seat, coming in with an attitude. We deal with these people, be nice, and they try to get on my business. Well, where you from? What you in school for? What you do? You got a family here? Look, stop asking me all that. Here's your food. I had to deal with all that. Y'all should pay me, not the dishwasher. All he did was damn dishes. He don't get no extra money. Sorry. I used to work at Texas Roadhouse, and we used to have to split tips with the dishwasher. He ain't doing nothing. Especially when it's slow. He's not doing anything. Anyway. Tipping culture's got to change. It's got to change. It makes us look bad. I was at a comedy show doing some comedy. comedy. I was doing some comedy, and this guy was he was like, I don't understand America. He was an African guy, lived in Australia. He said, I don't understand. In America, one of the richest countries in the world, you have people working and you do not pay them a wage that they can live. They need me to pay extra so they can have money to feed their children. That makes no sense. Why don't they just pay you enough? I was like, yeah, that don't make no sense. That don't make no damn sense. And listen to it from somebody from outside, from another place. It's true. It doesn't make sense. Why don't we pay people enough money to where they don't need tips? And people are going to make this loophole whenever they're at. But it really needs to just go down to Congress. The 1938 law, what is it called? Wait a minute. The Fair Standards Act. Let's look into this. Let's look into the Fair Standards Act, 1938. Let's look into this. What is the Fair Standards Act? Fair Standards Act was passed 1938, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt's New Deal era. It's one of the most popular labor laws in U.S. history, setting national standards for minimum wage, overtime pay, child labor, and record keeping. It was designed to protect workers from unfair pay practices and exploitation during the Great Depression. Minimum wage. The FLA established the first federal minimum wage at 25 cents per hour in 1938. Poverty! Whew! Today's federal minimum wage is $7.25, but some states and cities have a much higher local rates. Federal government don't give a damn. The federal government's not paying nobody $7.25 to do nothing. Nobody's working for the federal government for $7.25 $7.25 an hour. Overtime pay requires employers to pay 1.5 regular pay for any hours worked over 40 a week. Child labor restrictions set rules about how many hours children could work and what ages depending on what type of job. Record keeping requirements. Employers must maintain accurate records for employees' hours and pay. When tipping became widespread, restaurant owners argued that workers earned enough from tips so they shouldn't have to pay full wages. The FLA added tip minimum wage rule, allowing employers to pay less than minimum wage as long as the tips made up the difference. Federal tip minimum wage, $2.13 an hour, hasn't changed since 1991. Employers can claim tip credit up to $5.12 towards the regular $7.25 minimum. If a worker's tips don't reach the equivalent of $7.25, the employer must make up the difference. Though this often goes unenforced. You gotta sue. Some states like California, Oregon, and Washington don't allow tip credits. Workers must be paid full state minimum wage plus any tips. Others like Texas, Georgia, and Alabama still follow federal 213 rule. Poor states. The FSLA legalized a tier minimum wage system, one for regular workers and one for tip workers. Many argue it continues the legacy of underpaying workers, a system rooted in post-slavery labor practices. Today's campaign, One Fair Wage, are pushing to end tip minimum wages and pay everyone a full minimum wage. People gonna slide on you anytime you can. Yellow bellies. That's what your words used to call them back then. Yellow bellies. I meant manager takes a part of the tip. Oh yes, the manager takes part of the tip. They sure do. The manager gets a bonus and the employees do not. The regular employees under management level do not. How does that work? Tell me that's not some trash. Tell me that's not garbage. Hot garbage. Hot garbage. Hot garbage. Hot garbage. Hot garbage. That's what that is. That's what that is. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our sponsors. Let's talk to our sponsors. Be right back. Go check it out. All of that. All right. All right. We're going to keep it pushing. We're going to keep it moving. We're talking tips. We're talking people not getting paid enough in America. We're talking what do you do about it? You got to find a place, listen, I get it. If you really like it and that's the only job you can do, you got to do what you got to do until you can do better. But in the midst of that, once you can, you get up out of there, you go get a full salary or full hours pay. Okay? You go get a full hours pay. You go find another job that's going to pay you enough just to work, and you don't have to depend on the public to pay you enough, because that is stressful and the public sucks sometimes. They're not going to do what they need to do. So keep that in mind. Interesting news. Let's go. All right, let's get on it. Disney hikes theme park prices across the board as passes double over 200 in the past decade. The most magical place on earth just got more expensive again. Walt Disney Company is hiking ticket prices across the board for its two main U.S.-based theme parks, Disney World in Orlando, Disneyland in Anaheim. News of the price hikes, which go into effect on Wednesday, was reported by Disney-centric news Mickey Visits. The steepest increases hits Disneyland's top-tier tickets with its Tier 6 one-day pass. The ticket is purchased on the busiest, highest demand days, jumping $18 record to a $224 per adult. That represents a 120% spike over the decade. The 5-day Park Hopper, which lets visitors enter Disney Park and Disney California Adventure on the same day for 5 consecutive days, climbed $39 to $655, nearly up 108% in 10 years. Sheesh. All right, Disney's lowest total in 2015, 97. Did its highest total, 105. Disney in 2021, 159. Disney 2021, highest, 159. Disney in 2025, 119 for the lowest ticket, and for the highest ticket, 199. Disney is trying to chop you up and get that money. Prices for Disneyland Park, one per ticket in California over the years, $224 for the highest, and the lowest ticket price is $104. Go to Disney World if you want to. You're going to pay. U.S. lawmakers call for broader bans on chip-making tools sales to China. U.S. lawmakers are calling the broad bans on chip-making equipment to China. A bipartisan investigation found that Chinese chip makers had purchased $38 billion of sophisticated gear in the last year. Inconsistencies in the rules issued by the United States, Japan, and Netherlands have led to non-U.S. chip equipment manufacturers selling some Chinese firms that U.S. companies could not, according to a report published on Tuesday by the House Representatives Select Committee on China. The committee called for broader bans on U.S. and its allies on chip-making tools sales to China, rather than narrow bans on specific Chinese chip makers. The $38 billion purchase was from the top semiconductor manufacturing equipment suppliers without breaking the law, a 66% increase from 2002, and many of the top export restrictions are introduced. Well, they don't want us to do nothing with China. They want us selling nothing, so that's understandable. The U.S. chip maker. Now, man, I don't think people understand how important them chips are. We need those chips. A chip goes in everything. A chip is everywhere. You can't get away from the damn chips. You need chips. Chips are so necessary. There we go. All right, and let's see. What else? What other stories we got for you? Got for you. All right. Let's see. Let's get on this one. Is it the same thing? No. We're gonna get on this. New York woman refuses to pay $444. Damn. $444 fine to Hertz. AI scanner flags small scuff on wheel. I will never use their car company again. A New Yorker is refusing to pay the dollar parent amount of $444. That bill was triggered by a rental car's AI scanner, which detected wheel scuff. She claims it didn't exist. Nicole Palacio, pronounced Paxio, told the Post that she and her wife were conducting a 4th of July vacation when they returned their rented car from Nissan $5 Hertz to Nissan Altima dealer Hertz terminal at Atlanta's Hartsfield International Airport. Installed new AI system. Before we even reached our gate, I received a text email stating that they had found damage on the vehicle and they were getting charged $440. My wife and I have a great deal and I will never use their car company again. Sorry catching up, people. Yep, this AI stuff, man, it's only going to benefit the people that have control over the technology. You are not going to benefit from it. Now, you're not going to benefit from that. That's not going to happen. That stuff is going to be for them big billionaire companies, rich people who are going to make all the money. They're going to make it all tough, and they're going to have all this AI stuff trying to squeeze every nickel and dime out of you, me, and everybody else. So beware of that. Pay attention. Pay attention. All right. Tonight, we were discussing Lyft, tips, and should tips be automatic? Should you just tip everybody? And the answer is no. Tipping should be shameful in America. Pay people enough money and we don't have to worry about this problem, right? We don't have to worry about this problem. But hey, that's America, right? Always trying to cheat the small man, rob Peter, and paying Paul. Yep, rob Peter and paying Paul. That's what they're doing. They're robbing us and they're paying other people. That's what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen. But thank you all for tuning in. That's our show tonight. This is the Wednesday Rant. If you haven't seen it, hold on. I'm going to hit you with the new intro. Here's the new intro, y'all. Check it out.
Start it up.
But that's the new intro. Check it out. It's nice. Switching some things up, changing some things around. So, thank you all for tuning in there. And thank you all for tuning in back tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night. Thursday, tomorrow night. More show, more Cheap Not Broke. We appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you. All that noise. Thank you all for tuning back in and rocking with me. I appreciate that. I appreciate you all. And like I said, we're back tomorrow night. Same time, same place. New topic, Cheap Not Broke. If you haven't, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we will see you all tomorrow night.